Greetings and welcome back to SmartWatch Ticks. We're a YouTube channel on the web at smartwatchticks.com. And we're back with part 2 of the showdown between the Kospet PRIME and the Kronos Blade GENESIS. These two watches are phenomenal flagship watches, and we're shaking down some of the features in them. And I got to tell you, we're probably going to have a part 3 as well. We'll see how it goes. It's been too long. I've been wanting to get this up. I don't have even a quarter of what you guys have asked for done. But we're going to do what we've got and show you what we have so far. In the meantime, to get you started, Alrod's given me a challenge. This is his latest face he's designed, and this face is sitting here on the Kospet PRIME. That's what it actually looks like. There's 17 touch buttons on this thing. He's challenged me to go through them. I set my own limit of 2 minutes. You think I can do it? 2 minutes. Here we go. The top one is a calendar. Now, this is a round calendar. It's really cool. And almost all of these apps you're going to see, I got to keep talking, are extra apps you have to add in. This is just a basic flashlight that you can turn on. Here is a stopwatch, which is really, really fun. All of these, so far, you have to add Spotify, of course. You have to add that as an app from the Google Play Store. But the fun thing about these watch faces now is you can link these buttons not just to the stock internal apps like the music player is right here, or the camera is, but you can link them to third-party apps like this camera, which is called Open Camera, and you can set up all kinds of configurations. Again, third-party apps, you can tap that little box and change them so you can see all of your controls if they're off of the screen, or go back to round. And you notice this one actually rotated the screen. Very interesting camera. Let's get back out of here. This is the stock camera. So you can have more than one camera in this thing as well. Right here, when we tap, you've got an overall volume slider control for all of the volume functions, alarms, you name it, they're there. Then you've got your messages, your phone calling. There you go, messages. If you have a SIM card in here, there's your phone calling. And this is the third-party app that will interface with GPS. It's just about to find me. I'm going to bail out of it, okay? And we got notice in the show notes about all of these apps, including that one. That's the third-party one you're going to want to install if you want to use integrated GPS beyond the stock one that they've got. Hello, everybody. You're listening to SmartWatch Ticks Live on YouTube. And of course, it's interpreting that, and it's going to tell you what it thinks I'm saying until I stop talking. So I'm going to bail out of that. We went around the circle. So now on 13 over here, we've got the weather, and it updates with the local weather conditions. Your calendar, not the stock calendar, mind you, but he's got this one linked, come on, to Google Calendar. And then you do need to install that separately. And then 15's down here. This, of course, is going to be your stock fitness app. But again, you can use this other app up here instead. And this one is your heart rate. And finally, in here is a whole nother thing that's a Droid Linking thing. You have another app on your phone, and this one here, and you can control all kinds of things from it as well. And there you go, Alrod, all 17 of them. If you guys own his Pro Pack, you already own this one. Just stop on over and download it. He's already uploaded it for you. And I think he's also including, if not just a list of the apps you have to have, he may even have a zip file with all of those apps in it. So really fun, 17 different buttons on this watch. Cool. Now, let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to jump into modules. I've been recording little modules on these watches, and I'll just put in as many as I've got when I'm ready to publish. But I do want to tell you some things now, having warned them both for a little while. First of all, the Genesis. You know I like the Genesis. I'm not hiding that. And I really like the bands. The 3 different bands it comes with are great. This particular really soft material one, breathable with holes in it. It's nice. It's snug. You see I got a pattern in my skin there where it was on there, and when I tighten it up, I can tighten it pretty much to any level that I want. Now I'm belaboring the band a little bit because of this. You see how it's nice and sturdy on here? And it's just one of 3 bands that comes with the Genesis. On the Prime, I'm not as happy. This thing is stiff. I didn't think it would be, but it's yeah, it's honestly not comfortable. You saw the weight comparison between these two, and you saw how much heavier, 20 grams, I think, the Prime is than the Genesis. And when you put this on, I've run into a problem. Now, you may not experience it, but I kind of think you will. If I tighten it to a natural place, you see all the play that I've got in here. And when I'm out and about, it tends to slip over, and it'll kind of like almost be falling off my arm. And I twist my wrist to see the time, and I can't get it up to where I can actually see it. So I have to like really pull it on there tight, and then it's kind of cutting off the blood supply. So for me, this band in particular doesn't work. I'm not a big fan of really wide bands. This thing's a silly 2 millimeters wider, I believe, than the other one. It sure feels like it. And because of that, I don't know. It's just, for ladies, this is definitely going to look like a really big banded watch on you. This is going to look large. This is going to look extra large. And you've seen a bunch of our other Android watches that look medium. They're a smaller screen than both of these. So you may not even want to consider either one of these if you have a small wrist or you're female and have a small wrist. I'll put it that way. Okay, that's kind of just where I'm at with these so far. I like wearing the Genesis better. It's lighter and the bands work better than they do on the Prime. But there's a whole lot to all this, so let's begin. Here are the modules. Ready for some battery tests? I'm going to jump in the middle of this one. I've got the Genesis right here and 3 different versions of the Prime, and they've all been running over 24 hours now. It's 3:14. I started these at 2 p.m. yesterday. So after 25 hours, the Genesis is down to 84% with a SIM card in here that's constantly connected, waiting for phone calls to come in, but with data turned off. Now, in addition to this configuration, you notice that I got twist the wrist to light up turned on, sound is off. The brightness is pretty much at its lowest level because this can be visible outdoors, so I don't need to have the backlight up very bright. I have on here the Wi-Fi activated and connected to the network. Bluetooth is off, and cellular data is off, and GPS is off. Now that should be the same configuration of the other ones. So once again, 84% after 25 hours. Let's look at the Prime itself. This is the 3 gigabytes, 2 gigabytes, 3 gigabyte, 32 gigabyte version, just like the Genesis is. And it's been running exactly the same time. It's now down at 61%. I have a watch face that has that on here. To show you the configuration here, there we go, 61%, no SIM card, no Bluetooth. Twist your wrist is on. The silent mode, we're at half brightness. I chose that one because you do need it brighter to see indoors and outdoors. There's the lowest level. Compared with that one, they're about the same. But again, this one will work better outdoors, so I've chosen to run it at a lower light level in comparison with supposedly the huge battery in the Prime, which is at 64% right now. Bluetooth off, Wi-Fi on, cellular off, GPS off, identical configuration. By the way, they're all set to go off automatically after 15 seconds. These two and this one I've been wearing, so I get some pedometer count activity and I get some twist your wrist kind of activity going on with them. So they got a little bit more, I'd say, usage on them than this one, which is very surprising considering at 64%, this one, which is the Prime SE, with a lower memory configuration, is at 85%. This is 1 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte, 3 and 32. And the configuration on here, no SIM card and no Bluetooth. Everything is identical. and 15-second timeout, 85%. And over here, yep, the AllCall, the AWATCH GT, 81%, 85%, 83%, and what did we say? 61%. So you're telling me that this thing's got only a 730 milliamp hour battery in it, and this has got whatever they're claiming. Hey, they're looking about the same in the same natural setup configuration, except that this one has a SIM card in it, so it should actually be draining the battery faster. I'll be back when we have a little bit more time under our belt. Well, good morning, everybody. It's been an interesting night, and I'm back to give you an update. We'll show you how you put this fun thing on. By the way, you notice the Genesis is in the Ergon band, and that's because I did a review of this one with the launch of the Kickstarter for the Ergon band. And of course, I had to use the watch a little bit while that was happening. By the way, it's about 8:30 on the 15th, which means we've been 42 and a half hours since it started, and it's at 46% on the Genesis. What I did before I did the review of the Ergon band was note what the power level was, the battery level. And we did this whole review, and you'll see that if you haven't already. And then I put it on its charger, and I charged it back up to a couple of points below that same level because it was about an hour to 2 hours worth of time that I was working on it. So it picked it back up in this normal mode of just using it casually at that same level of discharge. So over the whole 42 hours or so, it's been tracking correctly. It drained a bit more than I wanted it to during the review, and that would have given you a false sense that it's not holding as strong a charge as it really is. Just for clarity there. Okay, so we got the reading on that one. Now we come to the official Prime itself. The one with the big battery, right? 1260, I don't know, 1280. Just incredible battery they say in here. Almost twice this one. Not. Look at that, 31%? Wow, okay. This has dropped to 31% over the same time. Now this guy is different from this one, and it's at 77%. And the only difference between, look, they're even the same watch face. The only difference between the two of these that I can tell is the fact that this one, hello, what are you doing? This one has 1 gigabyte of RAM and 16 gigabytes of storage, and this is 3 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes. But neither one of them have a SIM card, no GPS on, nothing that would cause them to have that huge of a difference. But it's there. And again, they both got the twist your wrist to see the time and a timeout at 15 seconds. So the AllCall, which is 3 gigabytes, 32, is at 70%. It matches this one identically in its internals. So if you eliminate the Prime, the basic Prime from the equation, and you look at these three together, you see that they're tracking fairly close to each other. This one, the Genesis, again being down now 45%, we're actively using it with a SIM card in it, is falling faster than these are, and it does have the SIM card in it. But I mean, my goodness, look, we're coming up on almost 2 days of life on these batteries. All of them are far superior to anything we've seen on the market before. So where are we now? Well, we are 2 days and 1 hour. 49 hours into this little experiment. This is why I don't do battery testing on all these watches, guys. It takes literally forever. I still at 36%. I'll crank it up so you can see it now. We're going to pretty much close this out at this point. 35% right at the edge there. You see it just jump down, going in and out of 4G. So the Genesis has still 1/3 of its power left after 2 full days. How about the Prime? The full-fledged, fully loaded, full power Prime? We're at 16% on this one. Yep. After exactly the same time frame, both of them 3 gigabyte, 32 gigabyte, right? And the other two, well, I've been wearing them ever since the last test. Here we go, 70% on the Prime SE. And he says, as I slide it up, I've put about 1,844 steps on it since then, because I hadn't even been wearing it yet today. And 62% left on the AllCall. So, and how are we doing on steps on that one? Whoa, 2598. Okay. So all in all, these watches, all of these watches, will last at least 2 full days and more, depending on the load. It's a relatively light load on these now. Got to admit that. 15 seconds timeout. That's why they're all going dark. When you see this, the face, they do have the twist your wrist to light the time. Now this is backwards because it's on my left one, but here we go on this one. You see the time delay on that? I know a lot of you guys ask me about that. Yeah, I could try that on all of them. There you go. That's a bit of a lag to get it to light up, and it'll stay for a couple of seconds and then go out. Or if you push the button, it'll light up for the duration of the time you generally have set, in this case 15 seconds. So I'm very impressed with the batteries on all of these, irregardless of the size. Guys, size doesn't matter. How long do we have to keep drumming that in? It's quality. Why do you think this one, with the same battery, is so much lower than this one, and so much lower than this one? They're the same battery, guys. It's got to be quality. So, yeah, when you get your watch, it's going to have a battery in it. It's going to be a certain size, and it's going to be out of a lot, some of which may be better than others. But you should be able to get a couple of days of use out of them at least. Okay, what's next on the punch list? Well, how about we do that test on the twist your wrist to light the screens? We've got the AllCall here, and we got the Genesis here. I got the Ergon band here, and I'm using my regular wrist straps here. So I'm just going to let them time out for a second. And again, when you twist your wrist, sometimes it's a matter of acceleration, other times it's about gravity. So first I'm going to do this one by going like that. And you see how quick it lit up. Okay, we'll let it time out, which is only a couple of seconds. We'll try it again. You ready? Okay. You notice that hasn't turned on because I didn't go far enough. So now we'll try to test the AllCall and see what happens. And go. Aha. You saw that one came on a little bit earlier. One more time. And go. Ah, this is facing straight up, and it wasn't, oh boy, kind of a long time there. Maybe I needed to go a little further. We'll try it one more time. And go. Oh, you! Ooh, you were supposed to turn out. Go off. Okay. Sometimes, if they're based on gravity sensor, and you have the watch straight up, and you move it just slightly, it'll trigger it again, and it'll kind of go in, out real quickly. There. And okay, I'm so far over that this one's not seeing that it's straight up. One more try. Ah, pretty much at the same time, right? All right, we still got this little sucker here. If you guys will allow me the luxury of not having to put the straps back on, I'll show it to you. Okay, this is the Prime SE. This is the Prime 1 gigabyte 16, 3 gigabytes 32. They're fading out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of hold onto this, hold it at the same angle as the other one, and twist them. Pretty close. Try it one more time. Let them go out. 1, 2, 3. There. Okay. Oh, all right. Let's bring over the AllCall. You guys you never stop, I swear. Okay, the AllCall now, 332 against the SE, which seemed to be a little bit faster. Oh, they're identical there, huh? Okay, the Genesis. Okay, let's see, without putting the thumb in and getting the camera on the right side, which is this way, and putting them down, and I know some of you are so bored, and others are going, finally, he's doing it, finally. Ooh, the Genesis one. One more time just to prove it. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Ha! All right. Yeah. There, we've covered battery and twist and shout. And I do shout when I twist. Okay, I want to show you guys one more thing. And this applies not just to this contest, but to every Android watch. Check this out. If you activate your Google Assistant and you say the following, let's get it up here. Open accessibility. Wow.
Opening accessibility settings.
Okay. You can hear them both. And the Genesis, is this a Genesis? Yep, Genesis was faster on the interpretation. You get into the accessibility menu of Android, which is not visible to you normally when you go to settings. When you scroll down here to magnification gesture and you access this, it explains what this does. This is going to allow you to triple tap and expand, boom, 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 like that. Boom, boom, boom. And you can actually get into a larger display. So we have this issue going on about pinch and zoom. And pinch and zoom is cool, and it's on the Prime. But it's only available when you're in Photos or an app that supports it, or in this case also in the triple tap and zoom. But not if you've done it and let go. It's tricky. Let's see, get back out of here. You have to triple, hang in there, Genesis, I'll be back to you. You have to triple tap, boom, 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 hold it, then use your other hand to expand it if you want to zoom high. Yeah, you got to fuss the heck with it. But it does allow you, whenever you're in someplace, for example, into your settings, and all the way down to about the watch, and all the way down to your build number. I'm always telling you guys, check your build number. Well, you can triple tap, boom, 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 and hold. And now you can slide around and read your build number. Kospet PRIME SE, this is the SE version, 2019, December 25th. That's the build number. I mentioned before, that's why we have so many Santa Claus screen watch faces on here, Christmas-themed faces. The Genesis needs a firmware update to have that triple tap not the triple tap, but the pinch and zoom capability. But it fully does the triple tap. So that's pretty cool. And you get to access to all sorts of other things. Captions. You can adjust the font size within the system, not within the different apps right here. Your overall display size and all kinds of things. High contrast, text, speaking passwords, and so forth. All of the things you normally would see in Android on your phone in accessibility is here, and it's available to you simply by speaking to Google. I wanted to give you the final results of the normal use battery test that we just went through, the whole thing where we were starting out with 0 hours, and so you saw all of these on the screen, and I said I'd be back later to tell you how things are going. Well, after 49 hours, that's like 2 days, right? The Genesis was still at 35%. Now remember, of all these, the Genesis had a SIM card in it as well. So you can expect all of these numbers to be lower than they would be if you were running it without a SIM card. Take that into consideration, especially comparing with the Prime with its bigger battery dropping down to 16%. Now true, the Prime SE and the AllCall are higher up here, but I would expect that to be about 50% or so. So you've got a full, easy 2 days of life and more out of all of these watches, even including the Prime if you say you're going to run it down to 0. So normal use, 2 days, that's like having a Tesla that'll run 350 miles and the furthest you're going to put on it, is like 100. And that's in a week, whatever. We kept running. We kept running the Prime SE and the AllCall AWATCH GT for a while longer, and these are the results after 56 hours, 66, 76, all the way up. I called it at 117 hours, where the SE, the one we got right here, still had 1/3 of its battery left, and we were down to 15% on the AllCall. So once again, to recap, battery power, battery life is great on all of these watches. And you have different batteries with different levels in every watch. There's a variety between them. So irregardless of the size of the thing they actually shove in here, it has to do with the quality of the battery, how many recycle times it's been used, all the other factors that happen with battery life. So don't dwell on it too much. And last thing I'll say is the Genesis that has that really special dock that you can slap it on your arm and charge it up. Well, I did a test incorporating that. And I booted at 9 a.m. at 100%. I ran all the way 12 hours. It was down to 37%. And it's a basic same test, using it like I was the others. Casual, daily use, not excessively heavy. No screen on all the time, but twist your wrist to see the screen was there. I popped the dock in for 30 minutes, pumped it up from 37 to 73%. Then I set the dock aside and charged it, just left it charging. I ran it then from 9:30 until 6:30 the next morning, another 9 hours. It had dropped down from 73 to 29%. Then from 6:30 to 9 a.m., I took another reading. 2.5 hours later, it was down to 1%. And that adds up, folks, to 24 hours. So with one boost in between, I got 24 hours of life. What does that mean? I put it on the boost, bumped it up to 66% again, and I'm good to go for another day. Literally, good to go for another day. So all you really need is a Genesis watch and its booster dock, and you're good to go. Just charge the dock, use the dock on your arm if you want to charge it up, and get some more life out of it. Once you've charged this up, put the dock back on the charger and use your watch normally. Well, that's pretty much what I'm going to cover for part 2 of this comparison. There are other things to go into, definitely. We're accumulating more questions and concerns and desires, and I'll hopefully have a part 3 for you soon. But I just want to make sure I get this up while you guys that are so hungry to know the battery results and volume. Oh, volume! I haven't done the volume. I hear a bird outside. I got another test I'm brewing for you. This will be the next one. I'm going to put all of these watches and a bunch more, the big fat ones, you know, the Max and the LEM4. I'm going to put them through a 1-hour video test. We're going to play a video. We're going to check what it looks like, what it sounds like, what the battery level is like, all of that stuff. That's coming up. Won't really be part 3 of this, but it dovetails because they'll all be being compared together again in a different aspect of battery life. Alrighty, guys, thanks for your subscription. I hope we get lots of looks on these because it takes a lot of time to put these together, and that kind of is going to motivate me or not to continue it, depending on if we only have a couple of hundred views. Nobody cares. It's up to you. All right, we'll see you again, I hope, soon.